Hi guys, today we're going to be going over True King Shaddoll Dino. To start up our lineup of monsters, we're going to have 3 copies of Soul-Eating Oviraptor. As you know, it's the best normal summon in the dinosaur deck. It can add you any dinosaur from the deck to the hand when it's normal or special summoned, and then later on in the combo, it can blow up a dinosaur on field to resurrect another one from grave, which will generate advantage because when dinosaurs get blown up, they summon from the deck. 2 copies of our boss monster, Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. During either turn, it can flip your opponent's field, and it can attack all of your opponent's monsters once each. And if they're in defense position, it can burn them for 1,000 and send them to grave by effect. Single copy of Misk, which is limited to 1, or else you'd be playing 3. He can send himself from the hand to the grave as a quick effect in order to protect your dinosaurs for a main phase from your opponent's effects. And he can banish himself from grave in order to summon a level 1 from the deck. Or in a pinch, he can banish himself with other dinosaurs in order to summon other levels. But if you're doing that, something's gone horribly wrong. Triple copies of Baby Ceresaurus. Not once per turn, when destroyed by card effect, can summon a level 4 or lower dinosaur from deck. Most of your dinosaurs are level 4 or lower. It can even summon other copies of itself. And in this particular build, we're maximizing on card effects that destroy. Double copies of Animadorned Archosaur. When it's normal or special summoned, ideally off of Misk, it can then blow up a dinosaur in your hand or field, ideally Baby Ceresaurus, in order to then add you from deck to hand a double evolution pill. Single copy of Giant Rex. When banished, it summons itself back, allowing you to go further in the combo and push for those Precious Xyz monsters, which give you extra interruptions. Single copy of Petit Pteranodon. We had to make a bit of room, so that's why I'm cutting it down to 1, though I've seen some builds cut down Baby and Petite to a total of 3, so it's not that bad. You'd be using this to summon out either a level 4 or your bank drops. Single copy of Dino Wrestler Bank Drops. Tributes itself, blows up a card on your opponent's field. Single copy of Dogoron the Mad Flame Kaiju, because it's stupid to have a deck that can search a kaiju and not abuse that to your opponent's detriment. Triple copies of Mariamne the True Draco Phoenix. Bet you aren't expecting that. So she can blow things up in your hand or field, including at least 1 wind monster, in order to summon herself. The key part here is that it blows things up. This will trigger your Petite and Babies, and it will also set off any of your Shaddoll effects, because they trigger when sent to grave by card effect. Single copy of True King Lithosgem the Disaster. Yet another one that you'd probably be playing at more if it wasn't limited to 1. Same thing as Mariamne, except its attribute is Earth, so you have to blow up at least 1 Earth. Not too difficult in the dinosaur deck, most of them are Earth. Or most of the ones you want to be blowing up anyways. And as for why we went with Mariamne the Wind one, triple copies of Reshaddoll Wendy, whose attribute is conveniently Wind. When she's sent to the graveyard by card effect, she allows you to special summon a Shaddoll monster from your deck in face-down defense position. In other words, if you blow this up with Mariamne, you then can summon yourself from deck a material for your fusion summon. Double copies of Squamata. In some builds I'd be playing it at 3, however, we're not trying to be cute here with 50-step Shaddoll combos. No, we're just trying to get the UCT and a Volzar and a Winda. All you need for that's really 2 Squamata. You can even cut it down to 1 if you want to make room for more hand traps and stuff like that. Single copy of Hedgehog. When sent to grave by card effect, searches your Shaddoll. Oh, Squamata, when sent to grave by card effect, sends you another Shaddoll to the grave by card effect. There. Falco, when sent to grave by card effect, can special summon itself in face-down defense position. You're only really needing the one because, well, in this deck, that doesn't do a whole lot. Then finally, 2 copies of Ghost, Mourner, and Moonlit Chill. Hand trap. Usually I'd say that they're interchangeable for other hand traps, however in this case I specifically went with her for being wind attribute. When your opponent special summons a monster face up, you can discard this card to negate that monster's effects, and then if it leaves the field, burn your opponent for its ATK. Starting up our lineup of spells, triple copies of Fossil Dig. Adds you a level 6 or lower dinosaur from deck to hand. Double copies of Double Evolution Pill, because you'd have to be a little bit nuts to be playing dinosaurs and not this. Banishes a dinosaur and a non-dinosaur, like for instance a hand trap or a Shaddoll, from hand or grave in order to summon you from hand or deck a UCT, ignoring its summoning conditions. Single copy of Draconic Diagram, limited to 1, thanks very much, True Draco. Can blow up a card in your hand or field in order to add you a True King from deck to hand. Convenient if you've got this and either a Shaddoll or a Baby/Petite in hand. Single copy of Shaddoll Fusion. You don't really need to max out on the fusion cards because the idea is that you search them out at the end of the combo with Verte. This allows you to fusion summon using your hand or field, and if your opponent has a monster from the extra deck, you can then also use materials directly from the deck, which is convenient. Single copy of El Shaddoll Fusion. Again, you don't really want to be seeing a whole lot of fusion cards in hand to begin with, because you'll be getting them from the deck thanks to Verte either way. But it's good to have a second one in case something happens to your first. Like for instance, if you draw it. Single copy of Forbidden Droplets. Yeah, I am saying single copy of Forbidden Droplets. Considering it has a cost that empties your hand or field, I don't really want to be playing too many copies of this in this particular deck. However, it's good both going first and second, and since this is a going first build, I am incorporating some going first cards. However, since I also like to operate by the philosophy of planning for the off chance I get forced to go second, I'm using cards that can also be used going second. And to start and conclude our lineup of traps, triple copies of Infinite Impermanence. It's a hand trap and a trap, so following the principle I just explained, you can use it as a trap if you're going first, or as a hand trap if you're forced to go second. Looking into our extra deck, triple copies of Shaddoll Winda, the mother of all floodgates. It limits both players to 1 special summon per turn once it hits the field, indestructible by card effects. This is ideally what you'll be summoning out with your Shaddoll combo. Single copy of El Shaddoll App Cologne negates a face-up card on field when summoned. Just on the off chance you get made to go second. Single copy of Predaplant Verte Anaconda. It allows you to send any fusion spell card from the deck to the grave, and then its effect becomes that card's effect. Then you immediately apply the effect, and then that has to be your last summon for the turn. Oh, it costs 2,000 life points, so be sure you didn't solemn yourself 5 times. Well, you're not even running solemns. Single copy of Mech Knight Crusadia Evermax. Link 4, just in case your opponent has a really big beatstick deck. Here's a bigger beatstick, which will always be a bigger beatstick because it copies the beatstick of your opponent's beatstick in order to out-beatstick it. There, I said the word beatstick 5 times in a sentence. Have I achieved comedy yet? Looking into our toolbox of Xyz monsters, a single copy of Evolzar Lagia. It can negate and destroy a summon or a spell or trap. Single copy of Evolzar Dolka. It can, up to twice per turn, not once per chain, negate a opponent's monster effect as a quick effect. Abyss Dweller shuts down the graveyard. Tornado Dragon for if your opponent's playing a back row deck. Pop that back row. Good riddance. Number 41, Baguska the Alcoholic Tapir, who happens to be holding a pillow and not a bottle in this art for some reason. He switches your opponents to defense and stalls them out. So if something goes terribly wrong with your combo, you can always just use this Mystic Mine on legs in order to negate their monster effects for a short while. Silent Honor Arc, if for whatever reason you want to get rid of one of your opponent's monsters before the battle phase with your UCT, just use this to attach it as a material instead. Single copy of Pentastag turns your ultimate Conductor Tyranno into an ultimate destroy your opponent's life points 5 times over Tyranno. Man, that was terrible. Single copy of Linkuriboh. You can link off your Animadorned Archosaur into this, and then link this off into Secure Gardna, which does nothing special and is literally just there to get Linkuriboh into the grave. Then, once you've got Animadorned and Linkuriboh into grave, you've loaded your graveyard with a dinosaur and a non-dinosaur for your double evolution pill. Alright, that's going to be all. Enjoy!